What's good, everyone? Welcome to Frame by Frame. And in case you haven't figured it out by now, I am your host, Christopher Not Nolan, emphasis on the knots. I am in no way, shape, or form the highly acclaimed director behind some of the most prominent films of the 21st century and will go down as one of the most influential directors of our time and of all time, maybe even compared next to Alfred Hitchcock. So, Future Film Studios place a picture of Christopher Nolan, set it in a very good frame, and hang it next to Hitchcock in a legacy hallway. But don't worry, I am not excluding Steven Spielberg, James Cameron, Martin Scorsese, and other film directors. Right now, this is about Christopher Nolan and the work that he has brought to the table. So, that is going to be something else to think about. In the meantime, we are doing a throwback take of a familiar franchise and a familiar movie with also a familiar guest that we have in store today. Yes, so we are going to be tackling TMNT 2, The Secret of the Ooze. And for those that are just figuring it out by now, I did have a special guest that helped me with the first film, and that was the Cowabunga episode. But for now, this episode is Go Ninja Go, which is all in the movie in case you're not familiar with it right now. So, I mean, without further ado, this next guest doesn't really need much of an intro. So, how about we bring him in here? Esme, what's good, bro?
You mean ESME Splinterson?
That is a bomb app. That is a very bomb last name. I mean, did you call the pizza place in order to order the pizza for movie night?
You already know that I did. It's a given.
Because you know this is the right podcast when it comes to having a hot stuffed crust ninja pizza. Yeah, pizza that is quickly without trace. Oh, bruh, it is insane when you think about it. So, all right. So before we let everybody know about our thoughts about Secret of the Ooze, why don't we tell our listeners and our viewers at home what we did this weekend, which included a bit of nostalgia lane in the movie theater.
I don't know. You tell me. What did we do, Chris? I don't remember.
You know what? They might have included some lightsabers, an epic battle, and a very dark turn in a whole different franchise.
Chris, are you talking about back in 2005 where little Esme was sitting down with his father next to him watching starfighters, lasers, laser swords? You talking about that? 2005? Or you talking about the one just happened right like recently? Revenge of the Sith? Oh my gosh. So when I saw it, Revenge of the Sith, like this past weekend, excuse me, it was like, dude, it was amazing. Like I was like, oh my! I remember watching it in 2005. I was like 6 or 7 years old, and like obviously, you know, I didn't understand anything. And funny note, my dad was like really mad. He was like, traitor, I'm a traitor, and I was like, little Esme was like, what does traitor even mean? And then now, like that I'm older and I went to go watch it. I mean, obviously I've seen it like multiple times, but like in the theaters, I was just like, dang, that's what my dad meant.
Bruh, it is insane. I remember watching it in the theaters for the first time as well. And just being back in the movie theater now and seeing other people watching it for the first time. And then I'm like, ha, I saw it first. And it was just, I had all the details, like the lightsaber battle and their speed, which was, I wish that you and I could have reconnected that during our dance routine with the lightsabers. But
Oh yeah. It'll soon happen. You gotta stay tuned for that. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Well, I mean, it was awesome. It was epic. It was a cappella. If only.
A cappella.
Mm-hmm. Perestroika?
I got
No.
Perestroika. Donnie.
Donnie, give it up. Oh, bro. But we'll briefly go into Star Wars and just say that we had an incredible time. And for everyone listening at home, I will re-review this in a future episode for the April 2025 reviews part 2. So y'all will get more insight onto my thoughts about that. But bro, so let's get into the secret of the ooze. You mentioned in the Cowabunga episode that you had watched the trilogy backwards. So you
I did.
watched the third one and then the second one and then the first ones. What was your thoughts of watching the second one after watching the third one?
I was a little kid. I didn't have any thoughts. I just wanted to watch Ninja Turtles and eat pizza. No, but honestly, just kind of looking back, I was just very surprised that there was more like movies. You know what I mean? Because like
Uh-huh.
that. I mean, my father would like always talk to me about like Ninja Turtles here and there, and
Uh-huh.
then whenever he came home one time, he brought some movies, and one of them was the Ninja Turtles, but it was the third one when they go back in time, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's insane. It's like there's another one, and then I knew that there is like a like a third one. I just never knew, and I think I don't know why, but I did think that the way that I saw it, I thought it was like the third one was first, and then the second one. But and then like I ended up finding out like it wasn't the case. So like to be honest, like honestly I was just surprised that there was more Ninja Turtles to be like watched. I was like, oh my gosh, where's the fourth one?
Well, at least you did it unconventionally, but you got 1 out of 3 right. This film was released on March 22nd, 1991, to a rating of 35% positive reviews, which is down from the first film with 42% positive reviews, and it grossed 78 million with a reported budget of 25 million, which is crazy how that's way down from the 202 million dollars from the first film that was grossed. And the mixed reviews that was reported at the time was the changes from the dark tone of the first film, the way to tone down the violence, and that was because of the backlash that had gone from the parents over the darker and more violent take of the first film. First off, let's tackle the tone. Like, what was your thought on this change?
You know, watching it as I got older, I kind of like it kind of ruined the vibe a little bit. Not gonna lie.
I co-sign with you on that actually. As growing up, I thought that they both did well on one being dark, one being more pop culture references, and the other one just being more goofy and comical. And I was like, both of those seem to have their juxtapositions of their tones, but now looking back on it, bro, I actually liked the first film a lot more than the second one because it seemed as if that tone difference really did make quite a big change.
No, yeah, I agree. I think it just felt a lot more relatable, like the dark tone and everything, like the way that like the story was written
Yeah.
and how like the brothers had to come together and stuff in the first film. I think that just kind of felt like relatable. It felt like homey. And then the second one was more like goofy, like chilling. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing like super like major was going on. But I will
Yeah.
say that it was enjoyable though. It was. I really liked the character Kino, who wasn't introduced in
Yeah,
the first film.
it's crazy how going back to it, that Kino is literally the only time he's mentioned is in this film. He's not mentioned in any other films. And he made a great impression in the second one. So I'm very curious about that. But then the fact that do you think the dark tone and the violence had an effect on children back then, especially us as kids? Because to me, the only effect it had was more on the realism portion.
Maybe in the '90s, yeah. You know, it was a different like atmosphere back in the day. What was going on during those times?
Well, there was a lot. Like the social climate at that time was definitely different, and it's
Yeah.
definitely a lot more different than it is now. And then, of course, the parents they also noticed the backlash of the where it was too violent. And then when it comes to the difference, where in this film most of the turtles are fighting bare fists, and then when you think about it, the only ones that literally used their weapons during combat in this one was mainly Donatello,
Yeah.
mainly. And then I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Leonardo used his slightly in the beginning, and he didn't really use it that much later on in the films. And then Michelangelo didn't really use his nunchucks. So, like,
He did
how big?
use the cold cuts.
Yes, he
And
did.
then Raphael did use his side, but to catch the pizza.
Yes. So that's what I was gonna say. Like how much of a big how big of a difference was that from the first film to this film? And terms of taking away their weapons.
I just think that if they did use their weapons, I think there would be a lot more like fight scenes. I think, and then I think that would have been like pretty cool because like they're known for their weapons, and I feel like without their weapons, it's not that they're not Ninja Turtles, but it just kind of like feels a little weird, you know? Right? Or am I wrong?
Well, we talked about it in Cowabunga, where every single turtle was given a weapon that it was able to enhance their weakness.
Right.
So that's mainly why they have to use it in order to fight against the bad guys. And then here they are, where this second film was trying to be tied more to the cartoons, to the TV series, with its comical side and then goofy side, and then especially in the intro, you notice when it comes to the beginning credits, like they associate that with a hand movement, a gesture, a clapback that they say, etc. And it's, to me, I feel that it takes away some of the magic that is TMNT.
No, yeah, I agree. Like in the beginning, which is all goofy, like when they were fighting.
Yeah.
I think I rewatched it, right, obviously, and then dude, like some of this stuff is pretty funny. I think it's freaking hilarious. It's just so dumb. Like
It
whenever
is.
Donatello is like running and he hits that like clown thing, or what are
Yeah.
those called?
I thought it was like a bouncy clown.
But yeah, yeah, okay. And then he's like, yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
I laughed. I did laugh at that one, and then I didn't realize how goofy they really were with all these fight scenes and with the Foot Clan, and
Yeah.
how it's just like innocent fight scenes. It's not even hostile fight scenes or gruesome fight scenes. It's
Yeah.
crazy. But even and then okay, so now let's jump more into lines and memorable scenes. Now that we're gonna get into the details of the movie, like I already noticed that from the jump, they already made things different. Because from the first film, we see a lot of teenagers doing crime when it comes to stealing stuff, and when it comes to all of the hidden gestures that we're passing on through their hands in the streets of New York. And then in this one, we literally see everyone eating pizza in all different ways. Even the cop that arrested a criminal and they're handcuffed to the other cop and they're just eating pizza.
Yeah.
How is it that everyone's eating pizza on the same night? It's like, does New York have nothing else to serve?
No.
Apparently not in this movie. But I will say though that my New York trip in 2021, I had to try New York pizza. Oh, it lives up to that.
Oh dang, I need to go to New York.
Well, you got to like get yourself some pizza while you're there. A cab driver was literally eating pizza while driving, which for those that are here, do not do that. Do not eat while you're driving. Anyway, like it was just from the beginning of we already knew that was going to be comical, and then Kino he gets the pizza and he's hitting on the girls, and then he's about to deliver it to April O'Neil, and then he notices the crime that's about to occur. Hence the fight scene that we just talked about earlier. Definitely goofy. And then with the who and the what and the where,
Oh, that leaves a wide land, doesn't it?
it sure does. I mean, it kind of seemed as if they completely got rid of whole practicing the art of invisibility. The whole point of being a ninja. And here they go walking down the stairs, making their entrance noticeable.
Like, I was like, damn, bro. Like, they're gonna know who you are now.
Yeah, see, that was the first thing that I thought of when they walked in and did that jump, and then I was like, well, okay, well, that's not being invisible compared to the first film where April was saved by them, but it was in the dark, and they turned off the lights, and then it captured the definition of being a ninja
Oh,
turtle.
yes.
And then just up until when April is introduced with the new actress, and we see that the turtles are living with her, and then it's just being silly from then on out. And then it's not until Splinter walks in, provides his wisdom, and then it's just that's where the seriousness kicks in. It's
Yeah.
we only get that little bit of sliver back, and then well, I mean, we gotta talk about the elephant in the room, man. How did Shredder survive?
He survived because I don't know.
Bruh.
I feel like the trash compactor didn't close all.
Well, I mean, Casey Jones was the one that was in charge of it because I can't like even watching it now as an adult, I can't seem to come with a plausible theory as to how he survived. I mean, the ending of the first film was very adamant on it. You kind of see the hat being crushed, and then some people say that if you rewatch it, you can see some blood.
Oh, really?
Supposedly, I didn't get a chance to. I have to. I'm gonna have to rewatch it to see because I didn't catch that the first time that we did for the episode. Then the fact that well, just that scene itself when his hand reaches up and then we see how he survived. Oh, the chills that I got during that.
I was like, damn, this guy's alive.
Hey, did you know that the creators were actually opposed to bringing Shredder back?
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were supposedly they were looking into getting Bebop and Rocksteady, but they were I think either they were opposed to that or just something didn't work out. So that's where they come up with Toka and Raza. So yes, I felt like if Bebop and Rocksteady were in this one, it would have had somewhat similar vibes to Mutant Mayhem in terms of the goofiness, the hilariousness, relatability, and then here comes Bebop and Rocksteady. I feel like it could have captured at least some of that.
Yeah, it probably would have like paid a little bit more homage to like the 1987 series or the cartoon, you know. But I was gonna say that I have the Funko Pops of this movie in particular.
Well, see, I've got the DVD right here, so I'm good on this.
Yeah, I have Donatello's like this, like the little like the like the clown thing or whatever, whatever
Yeah.
you called it or whatever. And then Michelangelo has a box of num nums, and
Oh
then
yeah.
Leonardo has the ooze because he's the one that catches it,
Uh-huh.
and then Raphael is just like this, like in the fighting stance because he fights the whole entire Foot Clan by himself. And then I have Super Shredder, and then I have Toka and Rezar.
Interesting.
That's
Well,
cool.
we're definitely gonna get to Toka and Razar in a little bit. Well, and then the thing is, like later on, as the scenes go on, we see about TGRI, April being a reporter, and then well, first of all, let's talk about another big change. The fact that they changed actresses because the first one said that she wasn't in par with the violence, she didn't like the gruel scheduling, and then that's where they replaced her with this next one, where the I believe it was either the creators or it was, if I could be wrong about this, but someone had said that her portrayal of April O'Neil was more in tune with the character than the first film.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
I think I can see that for sure. I think I can see that.
well, I liked the guts that the first April portrayal had, where she was more headstrong. She stood for her worth of getting high paid. She stood for sticking to her story. And then you could tell that she was forceful and headstrong kind of a woman. And this one is a little bit more easygoing, chill, maybe I wouldn't say passive, but is not as strong and upfront, especially with the police chief, than the other one would have been.
Well, yeah, I think what else I was saying, like in the cartoon series, that's how she is. She's not as like headstrong as like you were mentioning the first lady, the first
So
girl that
okay,
acts later. So it was
well,
kind of that's why I was like I can see that because she was a little bit more like chillax, not like super, you know. But that's
well,
crazy that. Sorry, go ahead.
she didn't do a bad job at all.
Oh yeah,
Definitely no disregard to either actress's talent. It's just all about what was April really like in the comics, and then the fact that they just did this drastic change. And as a kid, we noticed, but we didn't really ask that question.
yeah,
And then here she is doing her job of an actress playing this version of April, and it was pretty interesting to see her do this role. She did a good job.
oh yeah, she did.
And then later on, when the turtles are watching April report to TGRI and the professor, I didn't realize it until recently that when Raphael is telling Michael, like, "Hey, you think you can crunch any louder? I can still hear out of this one." I'm looking like, where are their ears?
No,
It's like, where are their ears? You look, and it's literally closed. Where are their ears?
honestly, whenever I was little, I didn't understand what he said because I thought he said ears, which he did. But I'm like, he doesn't have any ears. I was confused.
Yeah, because like how it's we that every one of those details had just like went over our head and we just went with like, oh, they don't have ears, but they can still hear, and that's it. And I was like, wait a minute, they don't have ears. How are they able to hear each other? Like this is crazy. And then and then another memorable scene for me was hearing more details of their origin of how they came about, both Splinter and the Turtles. And then, bro, I will tell you, that I will admit that when it came to that scene when they're on the rooftop and Splinter's about to give a speech, I had to pause it for a second because not because of the scene itself. I actually got a little emotional because I saw the Twin Towers in the background.
Mm.
Yeah, it kind of brought back the 9/11 vibes and the fact that I mean, just to briefly touch on it, not to go too into detail, but I just wish as a kid that I would have seen the towers in person in real life instead of seeing it through the media and the impact that they had. So I kind of got a little emotional on just that separate part itself.
Mhm.
But now going back to when I pressed play and then I heard Splinter speaking very philosophical about there was a shadow that was casted in the past, and then here is some light in the present to illuminate that shadow, and then have the TGRI container. I really liked that scene. It brought back the seriousness that we liked, the more humanism of it, and then yet it was a semi plot twist when it comes to like the whole TGRI and the companies involved, and it's crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, I heard. I was reading somewhere that they were gonna involve like I don't know if it's true, but like the Uptrons and stuff like that. It was actually from an alien planet. They're gonna introduce like that type of thing, and I was like, oh my god, like why didn't they do that? Because like one of my favorite series is the 2003 series. I keep saying this all the time. The 2003 series, the Ninja Turtle cartoon. 2003 series is the best series ever. I don't care. You can fight me on that. I like they have so much lore and so much like backstory and everything like everywhere, and it's so amazing. Since like I was used to watching that show, and I am currently rewatching it actually. And to talk about just watching Ooptrons and stuff like that, and then just whenever I was reading something, I think it was like that they're gonna introduce like that type of like those type of characters in this one, but they didn't obviously. So, but yeah, it was really neat though just to know the origins of like where it came from. Obviously, when I was little, I didn't understand what's going on, but whenever I started, when I was older, I was like, oh, okay, I can see what was going on.
Well, I understood, but it's but as an adult, it shows it has more meaning to it
Right.
because when you look back at the second film, we barely get any of those tear-jerker scenes that plant a seed in our mind in order that we could learn from those lessons that could help us build our character. And this movie, it kept most of those things more on the surface and kept it goofy just for the kiddos. And they really were trying to target the kids in terms of just keeping it there instead of those seeds that could have been helpful for us. Like in the first film, we had Raphael being prideful and having to deal with his anger and then the mental health there. It's crazy to think about how we didn't really get many of those in this movie. That's also another reason of the magic that was taken away, you know? So sorry, y'all. My light went out and I had to turn on another light. So it's okay. The show must go on. And then for those listening, now you know. So one of my favorite scenes in the movie was when they go into the lab and, they're trying to discover the origins of the ooze. And then they find out that there's an active container. And I like that whole scene, especially with Mikey being like, hey, where'd you put the quarter? And then Donatello typing into that computer, oh, it brings back memories of when I had to deal with that computer.
Oh yeah, I had one too. It was my dad's, and I
Oh,
remember playing like a game. We had to have a CD, put the CD in to play the game.
yes, dude. I remembered I had to put my own disc in the hard drive on the side in order to play those games.
Oh yeah, dude.
We kind of aged ourselves a little bit right now with
That's
that,
right.
but you know what? That's what happens when time flies. So I will say though, when it gets to the fight scene later on, I just thought that the whole thing was silly. Like they're playing football with the container and they're trying to get out of the lab, but it's definitely more comical. Like in a realistic version, it would not have gone down like that at all. Not when they're huddling, and then there's a stool, and then when Tatsu is just standing around watching all of this happen, he kind of seems like a principal, just watching the high school kids fight, and then just watching from afar. It's like,
Yeah,
seriously.
like and then like I don't know. It's kind of. I mean, that's something that the turtles would do. I know they would be like a little bit funny, like fighting, but also a little bit more skillful though. Like it was kind of silly everything.
It really does come back to the fact that when you minimize their use of their weapons, it really takes out the magic of everything else when it comes to more action scenes and the fact that it doesn't look as cool as it could have. And instead, they only try to rely on their sense of humor, which it maintained. I mean, it's still a funny scene to watch regardless, but it could have been way more iconic if they had just used their weapons. Like imagine if Michelangelo used his nunchucks.
Oh
That
yeah,
could
that'd
have
been
been
cool.
that could have been interesting. And then ninja vanish when he throws it, and then suddenly they're all gone. I was like, okay, they did not all just poof out of nowhere. I like we didn't see them run. We didn't see like any black suits like just run up the stairs as the ninja vanished. No, it just goes from suddenly from all of them there to none of them there.
Well, yeah, because they're ninjas. That's how the turtles do it too. It just they captured that with the ninjas more than turtles.
Well, this is the Foot Clan. This is the Foot Clan. They're supposed to use their feet. Well, either way, I did like that scene. That scene was good.
Yeah, that was cool.
But then I liked when Kino randomly shows up at the door and they all have to hide. Oh my goodness. When Kino steps on his foot, I don't blame Ralph for wanting to retaliate and they're holding him back. Oh, let me tell you, bro. If somebody dares step on my foot like that, oh, I'm a Hulk smash somebody. Especially if they wearing a boot. If they wearing a heel that is hard, oh no, I ain't gonna be pleasant after that. That scene, when they're doing the football play, Statue of Liberty.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Just do not try this at home, okay? Do not cause any damage to the couch, to the floor. Do not injure yourself. Do not do the Statue of Liberty. We beg of you, please don't. Like that scene in of itself, all I kept thinking about was like they throwing a whole pizza slice across the apartment complex. Just
Hey,
the
they're
whole
ninjas. It's Ninja Pizza.
yeah, not with the
No,
football throw like that.
and he caught it. Touchdown.
And then the film carries on to where less of their ninja skills are being demonstrated. Like when they have to hide behind the couch or hide behind the plant or hide behind the kitchen. That's more what a human would do. Not the way ninjas did it. Like not the way they hid in the first film. Like they just suddenly vanished from under the table or in the bathroom.
Except Mikey, because he got caught.
Well, I mean, he got caught, but he didn't get busted. Because he did vanish in
I
the first film.
mean, they kind of got busted because like all the ninjas showed up at their place.
So then when we see how Shredder, he's on a vengeance, and then with the ooze, he tries to create two creatures, Tonka and Raza. Up to this point, I noticed that there were not a lot of many pop culture references.
Yeah.
We didn't get as many pop culture references in this film as we did in the first film. And yet here's the professor saying, well, what did you expect? You had them like out quoting Macbeth. I was like, okay, finally we got something. And when we see that the turtles find out that Shredder is still alive, looking back at that now, there was a missed opportunity. Like, they could have brought immense drama. I mean, dude, imagine you fight someone who's very dangerous, who almost killed your master, and you think he's dead. And then you find out he's alive this whole time. There was a missed opportunity that could have made that reunion more iconic in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, well, the first person to see Shredder was Ralph, and then Ralph was talking to him in the junkyard, and then he's like, Ralph kind of like gets like stunned, and then Kino's like, "What happened?" And he's like, "I think I just saw a ghost."
They literally kept everything comical to where yes, it is enjoyable to watch regardless as an adult, but it takes away some of the realism that was displayed in the first film. And then I will give props to the actor who plays Kino because those martial arts skills that he demonstrates, oh man, he would kick my ass.
Bro, well, he actually plays one of the turtles.
Oh yes, I remember he plays Donatello.
Yeah, that's crazy. In the
And
suit
then
too.
he does like another spin kick on the outside with his other leg. I tried that once, like on a trampoline. Oh no.
Oh yeah, no.
Now gravity took me down. I don't know how he kept himself elevated while he did that kick. I rarely have seen anything like that still. Props to the actor that plays Kino and his martial arts skills. We need more people who can do their own stunts like that. Fast forward to where they have to go to the construction site and they have to meet Toka and Razar again, but they have those num nums.
Num nums.
Okay. You know what? I have a bone to pick with Shredder on this.
Okay.
Not the turtles, because they're trying to be effective of like trying to somewhat poison their opponent and it being a sly way, even though let's be real. donuts, num nums. That's not exactly a slang way. Any enemy would have thought, oh no, I'm not gonna eat this. They're trying to poison me. I have a bone to pick with Shredder because he is the surrogate mama of Toka and Razor. And here he goes, watching his two surrogate children getting poisoned by these turtles, and then he doesn't say anything until they realize that there is something in there. Come on now. Like somebody should have called CPS, and by CPS I mean the Creature Protection Service.
Oh my god.
Bruh, as an adult, I had a different issue with that because like, how the hell is Shredder just letting the turtles poison these two creatures?
I mean, they didn't know.
Bruh, they're turtles and they're supposed to go in a fight, and here they are with practicing the ancient ritual of pre-fight donuts. Really, really, bruh.
Pre-fight donuts. Pre-fight donuts.
And then it's like, who eats donuts right before a fight? Not even a human being would eat a donut without a fight. This is insane. I would have immediately thought poison if they're trying to feed my creatures that I built to try to get revenge on these turtles that they should have, no, that is immediate poison. Why are you trying to feed my children out of kindness?
I mean, you never know.
When Splinter and Kino are meditating, and then Kino wants to go help them fight. My favorite quote from Splinter is, "They can fight, but they have to because they must. But it is the last choice for the true ninja. Used unwisely, it becomes a double-edged sword." Now, see, you didn't understand Traitor in Star Wars. I didn't actually understand this quote when I was a kid, and then now, of course, growing up and reflecting upon that, it's it's very deep. Like
Yeah.
I Splinter, he's like the philosophical rat that we all need in our lives. And just by him spitting that, it was very insightful to see that.
No, yeah. I mean, Master Splinter always had the wisdom.
Yes, yes, he did. And I wish he had the fight skills, but we didn't really get to see that as much.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I wish that they would have enhanced. In these first two movies, they should have had Splinter fight like the way they did in Michael Bay's Ninja Turtles.
Oh
When
yeah.
Splinter fights in that first movie, that's how it should have been done. And yet, the most that we get out of Splinter is his bow and arrow. So now let's not wait any longer. We have to go for the iconic scene
Come on.
of the entire
Come on.
movie,
Tell me.
the dance break, the clubs.
Honestly, that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. That was cool.
Honestly, rewatching that as an adult, I mean, first of all, I know the dance break by heart, so that's without a given. But it's also funny how they're fighting these creatures, and people think that they're being extras as part of the show, and yet when they're done, then they just go off and dance until Shredder comes in. I'm like, okay, here they are, where they're not practicing the art of invisibility; they're doing a dance break.
But it's funny how it like all started cause like the music was playing and then the Vanilla Ice character was like, okay, feeling it, feeling it, feeling it. Like I don't know if like that was his song to sing like in the movie. Like you know what I mean? Like the character that he was playing, like I don't know if the DJ was playing music just cause and then he was like, oh, I like this beat and he starts rapping, or if that was one of his performances. But yo, it's a green machine gonna rock the town without being seen. Have you ever seen a turtle get down? Slamming and jamming to the music sound. Yeah, everybody just move. Vanilla is here with the new jack groove. Gonna rock and roll the place with the power of the Ninja Turtle.
Not you spitting the whole song, like, at least the first verse of the
Bro,
song.
dude, since like I started like breaking, break dancing, I mean, I just like to hear like break beats and stuff. That has like a break beat, like, old school beat, like those type of. Bro, I listen to that song religiously.
And it's literally an iconic song to this day because of just that one scene.
Yeah.
But here is where, in my opinion, this is where the downfall occurred. When Shredder becomes Super Shredder. That's when doing my research in the comics and seeing what Super Shredder was like, they really took a different turn where that was another missed opportunity where he could have been this badass, intimidating figure, and yet all he's just doing just causing destruction of like he
Yeah,
was
I
just
think that was so dumb.
he was basically committing suicide just by going by all of this and this. And then it was like, okay, it's a super shredder, but it was, like I said, I'm speechless because there was a missed opportunity. There was so many different ways that they could have directed and introduced the super shredder. If they had done the tone and the violence of the first film and continued that on, we would have gotten a second iconic scene of an introduction to a shredder. Like
Oh
the
yeah, for
first
sure.
one, like the first one with the silhouette and his entrance and the chills that we could have gotten more chills by the Super Shredder with a directing choice that would have been very creative in 1991.
Yeah, I think what it was is that he was just showing his strength and knocking everything down. I'm like, yeah, we get it. You're freaking strong. Yeah, they definitely could have chosen a different direction. They could have. I mean, I think they could have still had him like knocking down like some of the pillars, but then after that, like they should have showed his true strength, where like he was throwing stuff at them or like picking them up, like how he picked up Leonardo that one time. But like they didn't even fight. What the heck?
I
That was
know.
so lame.
I
Because
know.
honestly, though, I did get scared as a little kid when I saw Super Shredder, like hitting all that stuff. But then after a while, I'm like, he's trying to kill himself, or
Exactly.
I'm like, dude, what?
See, for me as a kid, I only saw it as where, okay, yeah, he's huge. And I wasn't scared by Super Shredder. I was just like, oh wow, he just went big. But then I thought, wait, why is he knocking down all of these pillars that are holding this up? Because I get he wants to kill the turtles, but he's also killing himself in the process. This is not a murder suicide. This is not the right way to do things. Like, it doesn't dismiss the entirety of the movie where Shredder is still a badass villain. It's just the way that the character arc where they chose to go with it,
Yeah,
it was a
that was
waste of
kind of
time.
lame.
I would hope that now if they were to make a super shredder, that it would be they would justify it, hands down.
Well, I mean, I think the costume, whatever, was good. I think it's just the way that they wrote him.
Yeah. I agree. The costume design is definitely good props on there with what they
Yeah,
did.
that was good.
It was just the writing just seemed lazy to me.
Yeah, for sure. They're like, all right, let's
So
get this over with.
yeah. And then let's just say for those that still haven't seen it to this day, and then for those that are watching and for those that are listening, let's just say the art of invisibility is gonna have to be a lot more practiced based on after that scene.
For sure.
It's not a fresh mango, but it's not tart either. Like
Right.
the first one is definitely a fresh mango in my books. This one is more, can I say normal mango? Like
Yeah, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I think.
room temp mango. Yeah, it's like a 6, 5.5. I say five and a
Yeah,
half.
yeah, yeah. 5.5 is a good one.
Yeah, because I could like the only reason why I would rewatch it is just because out of nostalgia purposes. But
Yeah, 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 for sure.
the first one is definitely a 7, like hands down for me. So that's where like now reflecting back, the first one is my favorite. The second one is and they went down with it, and we're not gonna talk about the third one
Hey,
until
no, 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 man. Hey, look. To be honest, look, like I grew up watching the third one, and I think like it wasn't that bad. I grew up watching the third one. It wasn't that bad. The only thing is the costumes were really crazy. I will say that. But I did like the fact that they went back in time and then like they're actually using weapons and fighting like ninja like warriors and stuff. I thought that was cool. That's what I liked about it with all the fight scenes and stuff.
they somehow had a cheaper budget for the third film. And I was like, okay, you have a third film, and yet the costumes are crappier than the second and first ones, where those were better. Uh, yeah, too noticeable. When we get to the third one, I'm gonna rant. I'm gonna rant in that episode.
Say less. We'll have a big debate about the.
Oh, we will. We definitely will. But in the meantime, we're going to take our first break here. And then when we return, we're going to return with much more info. Welcome back, y'all. We are here with ESME Splinterson.
Yes, sir.
And we had just covered basically the whole nostalgia of TMNT 2, The Secret of the Ooze. But in the meantime, we're going to take this in a little bit more of a fun turn. Because for those who had listened to the Cowabunga episode, Esme is an avid TMNT fan. So I thought I should test his knowledge a little bit when it comes to the TMNT world.
I'm gonna fail this.
Well, it's going to be in regards to the second film, not of the TV shows.
Okay, I'm scared now.
So I figured, okay, you know what? Let's go ahead.
Triceratons.
Let's go ahead and I got this quiz set up already.
Doctor Stockman.
Wait, what?
I'm just nothing.
Okay, so basically, I'm going to bring up this quiz to see how much knowledge you have from watching the details of this second film.
Oh gosh.
So here we go. Three of the four actors inside the turtle costumes for the movie also appeared in other scenes with cameo appearances. Which turtle actor did not get his face shown in the movie?
I'll say Michelangelo.
Okay. Second question. Which
You're not
national
gonna tell me if I'm right or not, or at the end.
wait, do you want me to tell you the answer afterwards or as I tell you the question?
Well, however you want, it's fine.
Okay. So then let's go with let's go all the way to the very end because I'll remember your answers. So, which national pizza chain bought the product placement rights to the pizza delivered to the turtles while they were in April's apartment? There is Pizza Hut, Happy's Pizza, Domino's, and Little Caesars.
I want to say Pizza Hut because Domino's was the first one.
Yes, it was. Okay. The third one. Third question. In a bit of an inside joke, when cleaning her apartment, April O'Neil grabbed a stack of magazines and comic books. You remember that?
Yes.
So, true or false? The top book on the pile was an early issue of the TMNT issue.
False.
Okay, question number 4. Cowabunga was one of the catchphrases that the Turtles used frequently. What yellow-colored cartoon character who also used that term a lot made a cameo by an appearance on the glass used to mix chemicals? So, yellow-colored cartoon. So here are the answer choices. Bart Simpson, Garfield, Doug Funny, or Peter Griffin?
Bart Simpson.
That's self-explanatory there. Okay. Now, next, what is the name of the company that produced the ooze mentioned in the title?
TGRI.
Well, yeah, you got that answer right, so that's already a given. After Shredder drank the canister of ooze and mutated into Super Shredder, what animal did he mutate into? Did he become rat-like? Did he become both a turtle and wolf traits? He mutated into a turtle, or no animal? He just turned into a bigger human.
I thought he just turned into a bigger human.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. Because he did not turn into an animal. It just made him more taller and muscular. So I could tell that I could already tell from the jump you got that right. Okay, now who directed the film? I said this in the very beginning of the intro.
I don't know.
Kevin Eastman, Steve Barron, Stuart Gillard, or Michael Pressman?
I'm gonna go with I don't know. I don't know. I forgot, dude.
Abroad. Oh, there's no E. There's no E. Just choose one. Then we'll just
Same again.
Kevin Eastman, Steve Barron, Stuart Gillard, or Michael Pressman?
Michael Pressman, I think. I don't know.
You're actually correct. I did say that.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Corey Feldman was the voice of Donatello in the first and third movies in the franchise. Who filled in and voiced the character in this film?
That leaves out one man, doesn't it? I don't know the names.
Well, here
There's
are the names.
any names?
The names are Corey Haim, Casey Jones, Adam Carl, or Aruku Saki.
Oh fuck, we do it. Oh sorry, I can't. I cussed.
It's okay. It's all good, man. You can cuss. It's all fine.
I can cuss?
I am keeping that in, though. I'm just saying.
I can cuss?
Yes, you can.
Oh, oh shit! What the fuck? I can cuss?
Well, don't go
Fuck the Super
crazy.
Shredder. No, I was kidding. Oh my bad. Okay,
I'm
wait.
keeping that in, though. Just a heads up.
Okay, what are the names again?
Corey Haim, Casey Jones, Adam Carl, and Aruku Saki.
Adam Carl, I guess. I don't know.
We're getting to the last two. So the penultimate question. What role did legendary voice actor Frank Welker have in this film? Was he the voice of Splinter? Was he the voice of Tonka and Razar? Was he the telephone operator? Or was he the voice of Super Shredder?
Who's this again?
Legendary voice actor Frank Welker.
Frank Welker. The Shredder.
Okay, so we'll go with the Super Shredder. And last but not least, what was the secret of the ooze as explained in the movie? The secret was who made it, how the ooze worked, the reasoning why the turtles were mutated, or the secret was never really explained.
I want to say the secret was never really explained.
Okay.
But It's either that one or like who made it because they didn't really explain like.
Well, we know the TGRI made it.
Right. Okay. So what was the second answer?
How it worked.
Okay, the third one.
Why the turtles mutated.
Yes, because and
Okay.
then I remember Donatello saying like, I thought someday we find out that we were special."
Technically, they are special because they're the only four turtles,
Well,
but
I think he thought that like it was like somebody like created them or like it was on purpose instead of like an accident or
well,
something like that.
well,
That's what I
remember,
thought.
well, we have to remember that they are teenagers, so they're having that teenage mindset. They're not thinking that even though yes, they're being raised by their philosophical rat of a father that is Splinter, they're still teenagers. So it makes sense of why he was reacting that way, that he didn't feel special. Okay, so let's find out which of the ones that I had not said that you already got right. So in the first one, when I said which of the turtles actor did not get his face shown in the movie, you had said Michelangelo, right?
Yeah.
And the actor is actually Raphael, and I'll
Okay.
explain why. So the actor that played Leonardo, he played a member of the Channel 6 news team that was shown in the newsroom shots.
Oh yeah.
The actor who played Michelangelo, he played a man on the street in the scene shot in Soho. And the one that plays Donatello, well, that's already obvious there. So the one that played Raphael, he could not find a cameo that they fit a description for.
Oh, okay.
So that was crazy.
Ew.
I know. And now the second question was the national pizza chain that bought the product placement. You had answered Pizza Hut. Bro, you were right. It was Pizza Hut.
See, I already know, man, because Kino was wearing the red and white.
Yep. Now, in the third question, where you said false to where the top book of the pile was an early issue of the TMNT,
Oh, it probably was true.
it was actually true.
Okay, I got it confused with Michelangelo's like how like his poster was like this girl Paulina or whatever. I
Yes.
thought that's what this comic book was or the magazine.
No. So, fun fact, the comic was from the Adventures line, which can be identified from the color panels, but the exact issue number was not able to be identified in that quick moment.
Okay.
So interesting. Okay, so Cowabunga, well, we know you Bart Simpson. Yes, you got that correct. TGRI, you got that right. When Shredder, what animal did he mutate into? That was correct. No animal. He just turned into a bigger human with more spikes and more armor. And who directed the film? We got that. Okay, and who filled in and voiced the character of Donatello in this one? It was Adam Carr.
What was I gonna say?
You said Adam Carr.
I bet.
What role did the legendary voice actor Frank Welker have in this film? You said that he was the voice of Super Shark.
Yeah.
He was actually the voice of both Taka and Razar.
Hmm.
So by this time, Frank Welker had already done more than 500 roles on his resume when he was asked to do a voice role on this film. And due to his ability to change his voice so quickly, he provided the voice of both mutants without many people realizing it prior to the credits rolling.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Bro, 500 credits? That's crazy. All right. Now the last question. The secret of the ooze. So you had said your answer was the reasoning of the Ninja Turtles were mutated.
Yeah, the third one.
Okay. So actually, according to this, the secret of the ooze was basically who made it, which was
Oh,
Silver Rat.
lame.
Yep. Fans were hoping that based on the title that they wanted to explain how the mutagen was created. Instead, the only line that was mentioning was it was turned into an accident. There was no explanations for what TGRI was trying to make or other experiments that might have been conducted with the ooze that was offered into the film. And not only did they find the company, but the scientists responsible for it. That's how they found the creation of the ooze, but that's as close as uncovering the secrets of it.
Yeah, that's what I was reading. That like the creators had pitched the idea that to bring it well like Utroms, the one the or like a race that's from another planet that created the ooze.
Yeah, see, I feel that this was also another missed opportunity. They could have dived deeper into the ooze and the background of it and just
Yeah.
fascinated us more as children to be like, ooh, ooze, it comes from here. And then they could have gone into a deeper storyline with
Read the answers again.
the secret was who made it. how the ooze worked, the reasoning why the turtles were mutated, or the secret was never really explained?
I want to say the secret was never really explained,
Okay.
but it's either that one or like who made it because they didn't really explain like.
Well, we know the TGRI made
Right. Okay. So what was the second answer?
how it worked,
Okay, the third one.
why the turtles mutated.
Yes, because and
Okay.
then I remember Donatello saying like, "Oh, I thought I thought someday we find out that we were special."
Technically, they are special because they're the only four turtles,
Well,
but
I think he thought that like it was like somebody like created him or like it was on purpose instead of like an accident or something like that.
well,
That's what I
remember,
thought.
well, we have to remember that they are teenagers, so they're having that teenage mindset. They're not thinking that even though yes, they're being raised by their philosophical rat of a father that is Splinter, they're still teenagers. So it makes sense of why he was reacting that way, and not after hearing the professor and his the reasoning that he didn't feel special. So
Yeah.
that makes sense. Okay, so let's find out which of the ones that I had not said that you already got right. So in the first one, when I said which of the Turtles actor did not get his face shown in the movie, you had said Michelangelo, right?
Yeah.
And the actor is actually Raphael,
Mm.
and I'll
Okay.
explain why. So the actor that played Leonardo, he played a member of the Channel 6 news team that was shown in the newsroom shots.
Oh
The
yeah.
act, the actor who played Michelangelo, he played a man on the street in the scene shot in Soho. And the one that plays Donatello, well, that's already obvious there. So the one that played Raphael, he could not find a cameo that they fit a description for.
Oh, okay.
So that was crazy.
Ew.
I know. And now the second question was the national pizza chain that bought the product placement. You had answered Pizza Hut. Bro, you were right. It was Pizza Hut.
See, I already know, man, because Kino was wearing the red and white.
Yep. And then Pizza Hut stepped up and was the only pizza chain seen within the movie. Interesting. Now, in the third question, where you said false to where the top book of the pile was an early issue of the TMNT,
Oh, it probably was true.
it was actually true.
Okay, I got it confused with Michelangelo's like how like his poster was like this girl, Paulina or whatever. I
Yes.
thought that's what this comic book was or the magazine.
No. So, fun fact, the comic was from the Adventures line, which can be identified from the color panels, but the exact issue number was not able to be identified in that quick moment.
Okay.
So interesting. Okay, so Cowabunga, well, we know you Bart Simpson. Yes, you got that correct. TGRI, you got that right. The when Shredder, what animal did he mutate into? That was correct. No animal. He just turned into a bigger human with more spikes and more armor. And who directed the film? We got that. Okay. Who filled in and who filled in and voiced the character of Donatello in this one? It was Adam Carl.
What did I say?
You said Adam Carl.
Oh, I bet.
So yeah, you were correct on that one. Now this one, the what role did the legendary voice actor Frank Welker have in this film? You said that he was the voice of Super Shark.
Oh, yeah.
He was actually the voice of both Taka and Razar.
Hmm.
So by this, so So by this time, Frank Welker had already done more than 500 roles on his resume when he was asked to do a voice role on this film. And due to his ability to change his voice so quickly, he provided the voice of both mutants without many people realizing it prior to the credits rolling.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Bruh, 500 credits? That's crazy. All right. Now the last question. The secret of the ooze. So you had said it was your answer was the reasoning of the Ninja Turtles were mutated.
Yeah, the third one.
Okay. So actually, according to this, the secret of the ooze was basically who made it, which was
Oh,
CGI.
lame.
Yep. Fans were hoping that based on the title that they wanted to explain how the mutagen was created. Instead, the only line that was mentioning was it was turned into an accident. There was no explanations for what TGRI was trying to make or other experiments that might have been conducted with the ooze that was offered into the film. And not only did they find the company, but the scientists responsible for it. That's how they found the creation of the ooze, but that's as close as uncovering the secrets of it.
Yeah, that's what I was reading. That like the creators had pitched the idea that to bring it, well, like Utroms, the one the or like a race that's from another planet that created the ooze.
Yeah, see, I feel that this was also another missed opportunity. They could have dived deeper into the ooze and the background of it and just
Yeah,
fascinated us more as children to be like, ooh, ooze, it comes from here. And then they could have gone into a deeper storyline with that. And it was just, it's crazy to even think about it. When they missed an opportunity to involve aliens and the Utrons and then Professor Perry, and they could have done TCRI. Imagine how that would have been with the
would have been
second
great.
film.
Can I tell you, it would have been awesome. You know why? If you ever watched the 2003 series, Utroms are in there. TGR is in there. Everything's in there, dude. I have the whole complete series of it.
Oh, bruh, I'm going to your place and we're gonna watch it. We're gonna binge watch it. We're gonna order pizza and we're gonna have stacks and boxes. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our final break here and then we are gonna wrap up this episode with our special guest Esme in the movie Buzz. Welcome back, everybody. We are here with our special guest Esme Splinterson. Bruh, are you ready for the movie Buzz here?
I'm buzzing right now.
In digital news, we have some of the newest movies that are being released, which is Hell of a Summer, Alto Nights, Captain America, Brave New World, Woman in the Yard, and Locked are available now to watch. Now, when it comes to Locked, I never got a chance to see that when it was released this past year. And I was hoping that I could find it, but bro, it was released in limited theaters and it wasn't released to my theater that I was at. So I never got a chance to watch it. So I really hope that I could review it later because Locked has Bill Skarsgård and Sir Anthony Hopkins in a thriller film.
Oh wow. Yeah, I know. He's my cousin. I'll call him right now.
Bruh, please call him. Yeah, please call
I
him.
can't. I can't though. I'm using my phone for this.
Bruh. I mean, if you were using the computer, you could have called with that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So now in trailer news, we have some trailers that can now be seen on YouTube. One of them is including Head of State with John Cena, Idris Elba, and Priyanka Chopra Jones, available to see on July 2nd on Amazon Prime. And of course, you know, when it has John Cena, we know it's going to be action for the John.
Better be.
I know, right?
Imagine it's like a whole drama thriller or something.
What a curveball, I swear. And then, bro, we also have the teaser trailer for Wednesday season 2.
Oh, for real? I didn't know that.
Yes. So I recently got to see it, and it shows Wednesday going through an airport, and she's unpacking everything through the metal detector. She's got like shingles, a weapon. The humor is still there, but I'm just wondering, like, why the hell is she going through an airport? Like,
No,
that's
she can't fly herself.
well, I don't know, but I just hope she doesn't have one of those visions while on the airplane because then that's gonna be crazy.
True. She probably will.
So everybody else that's here watching, go watch it now. In reboot news, bro, do you know that horror movie Urban Legend?
No.
Bro, it came out in 1998. It was basically that horror movie about these college students are learning about urban legends, and the killer is killing people based on the way the urban legend did the killings.
Oh, wait, no, I haven't seen.
Urban Legend is going to be getting a reboot of it, with Screen Gems is in development of producing that reboot. I know, dude, it's crazy. When I saw that movie as a kid, the very beginning, like the first victim that was killed, oh, that it scared me because she's going out to get gas while in the rain, and the guy's trying to help her, but she's mistaking it as like he's trying to attack her when it's an old man because she has to get out of her car, go inside to pay for the gas. So he's trying to protect her, but she thinks he's attacking her, so she runs back to her car and then just leaves. And then he yells out one of the lines that still gives me goosebumps to this day. Someone's in the back seat.
Oh,
Bruh, that's one of the lines.
dang.
Like in horror movies, that one is one of the lines that still gives me chills to this day. And to this day, when I enter my car, that is why I always check in the trunk, under my car, and I check in the back seat because of that scene.
Dang, bro.
Yeah, it's
Traumatized.
It's that one, and another line that still gives me chills is the we trace the phone call. It's coming from inside the house.
Damn.
That one scares me still to this day. But going back to urban legends, they're gonna modernize on what urban legends would be like, but in a digital world.
Okay.
I'm kind of curious to see how could that be made? Because
Right.
before, I mean, this was back in 1998, so they had those big cell phones, they had those old computers, but they didn't have the technology that we have now. So can you imagine how that would be?
Not for
Okay, so now in sequel news. Now, The Accountant 2 has just been released in theaters, and a lot of people noticed the actress that was missing from this film was Anna Kendrick. Yep, that's right. She is noticeably absent in the second film. However, there is talks about the fact that they are going to be making a third one to make it a trilogy of The Accountant, and supposedly she will be having an important part in this third film, while they're trying to have it developed as quote unquote a buddy comedy, calling it Rain Man on steroid. Yeah, bro. Did you see the first Accountant? It came out in 2016.
I have, but it's been like I don't really recall because I don't think I saw it fully. But I know it was a good one. I liked it from what I can remember.
And I was a little bit surprised that she wasn't in the sequel, but I hope that she comes back for the third one, so that way she can have a bigger role. I want to get your input on this. Ethan Hawke criticizes the latest trend that is happening with casting people solely based on their social media presence, especially hiring people that have lack of experience of acting in the field. So, because this has been an ongoing conversation in the past few years with how prominent social media has been in our lives. Ethan Hawke stated, sometimes I'll be setting up a movie and someone will say, you should cast this person. And I'm like, who is she? Well, this person has 10 million followers. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, has she acted before? Well, no, but, and then you're like, wow. So this is going to help me get this movie made. This is crazy. So you're telling me that if I don't have this public platform, that I might not even have a career, and then if I get more followers, I might get this part. What are your thoughts about this latest trend with casting directors mainly casting people based on their social media presence instead
All
of their
right, bro.
talent?
Now let me put back my thinking cap on. Well, I do understand why like people do that now. I think because since there's a lot of like streaming services where they're making their own movies and like they're putting them out on their streaming services, no one's really going to the movie theaters, I think, or some studios don't really use streaming services, right? So they still like make movies and put them in the theater. But and then like a lot of people are not going to the theaters anymore. I don't know what the numbers look like, but I assume that like the reason why they're going off of like how many followers they got is so they can bring in those people to watch their movies to make money.
So the program of where I have seen that it supposedly has worked is with Ariana Grande and Wicked, because she's got like over 300 million followers, and Wicked recently has made 770 million worldwide. So when you do 300 million, like, if you go by that method, most of her followers went to go see the movie.
Yeah.
So that's a pro. Now, however, the con is, and even some other actors that have like big following, they don't have the same reflection. Like Ariana Grande is just this one case. That business method to me doesn't always follow through.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The numbers have shown recently that because of the latest movie like Sinners, which I am definitely going to review in the next episode, Sinners and Thunderbolts are starting to bring people back to the movie theater.
Oof. Let's go.
Yeah, especially now with the early reviews of Thunderbolts being in the 90s of Rotten Tomatoes. There are people that are buying early tickets because of this word of mouth. And then when it came to Sinners, the word of mouth helped with that. I saw pictures of movie theaters packed, sold out everywhere with Sinners. So before earlier this year, people were not really going to the movie theaters because when I was reporting the numbers, a lot of good movies were not making their profits. But now there's a shift happening, and now the magic of the movie theater is starting to come back. So
Mhm.
and
Let's
and
go.
So I cannot wait. I want more people to go to the movie theater and all of that. So but
Bro,
regardless,
real
going back,
quick, sorry.
go ahead.
Bro, Revenge of the Sith, bro. I want to go watch it again in the movie theaters.
Shoot, I'll do it too. Like
Dude,
before
I
it
really
leaves.
want to go to watch it again, bro. Oh my gosh. Like, it was just so fun being in the movie theater, just hearing all the freaking.
The sound effects and the bass and
Dude, the
the
picture,
music
everything.
score, the music
Oof,
score during their
bro.
iconic battle scene. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, it was so good. It was good.
I'll definitely try to rewatch it as well. Okay, so then the fact that casting directors, they're looking at social media presence, but then, bro, what about talent? Like, I know
I mean,
this is show business, but like, where is the balance supposed to be at when it comes to a social media business method and then someone with incredible talent?
where I think they're just trying to make money at the end of the day. But I feel like sometimes you probably could hit a holy grail, like on your Ariana Grande, for example. That's one example.
She is the most prominent one that I could think of because when I saw the
Right.
numbers for Wicked and I compared that to how many Instagram followers that she has, now of course I can't tell if it's concrete, but based on the numbers itself, it seems justifiable that that method did come true as this case. And so I can see how it worked with one scenario, one plausible scenario, but then there are talented actors who don't have a big social media following, or they don't even have social media because they take care of their mental health, or they're really into the art. I feel like there needs to be a balance of where maybe they need to have a prominent social media following and engagement, but they also need to have talent to show that they're not just to be looked at on the screen. Otherwise, they could just be models. When you're acting, you're supposed to be in a character. You were supposed to be as authentic as possible in this character's journey. And we're supposed to feel for you in some type of way, whether it's anger, sadness, we're happy for you, we're rooting for you. We're supposed to be feeling some type of way if you're that talented enough or scared of you. And yet, if you don't have that, then what's the point?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a weird time.
It is a very weird time.
Weird time.
So we're definitely going to continue this conversation and see where this trend will lead later on this year. So for those that are watching and listening, yeah, we will definitely keep you updated. And then if y'all have thoughts about this, please leave a comment, especially because y'all also watch movies, and especially if y'all are streaming
Yeah.
at home, and if y'all are going to the movie theaters, yeah, please, like right now is the time to speak up so that we can hear you. Okay, so that is it.
Cowabunga, dude.
All right, so that is it for the movie buzz, and that is it for this episode. So, Esme Splinterson, thank you for being a part of this episode. Of course, I'm always grateful for you, no matter what. Yeah, I'm glad that everything worked out well despite my technical difficulty. But in the meantime, don't forget to follow Esme on Instagram at Mars100. He will be tagged later on as well.
Yeah. And remember, go ninja, go ninja, go.
Have a pleasant rest of your evening. And then for everybody else, have a pleasant day or night. We will catch y'all next time. So, adios, y'all.
Later.